into this game. I might be getting into this game. But yeah, as far as PS2 goes, we got Burnout 3 Classic. I was playing this yesterday too. Bro, hold on. We might have to have a conversation quick. Hold on. Sorry, music's gonna cut out. We might have to have a conversation real quick. Like, so I go on YouTube, all right, all the time. I hear, sentiments of like, gaming used to be so much better. Gaming is just not like how it used to be. Gaming was so much better. If only we could go back to the old days, stuff like that. You know, sentiments like that. And I've always had a sort of nuanced opinion to that. I always felt like and I still feel this way. I feel like there's a lot of good games out there now. It's just kind of like a little harder to find because not everything. There's just so many games. I think the problem is that there's just so many games now compared to the way it was back then. But yeah, anyway, to get to my point, um, yeah, I was playing a bunch of PS2 games yesterday that I haven't played in a long time. I was playing Burnout, I was playing Sonic Riders, I was playing what else did I play? SSX3. I haven't had that much fun playing games in a while. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't had that much fun playing games in a while. I don't know what exactly it is. I think part of it was that the games wasn't really holding my hand except for Burnout. Burnout had a tutorial sort of. The other two games didn't have a tutorial, so I was like having to figure it out as I was going. And yeah, they felt relatively difficult. Like there was a learning curve to it. And I guess that mixed with, the simplicity of it. And I think also the fact that you have to unlock characters and unlock content and stuff like that. So it kind of gave me, a lot to look for. Not that new games don't do that, obviously, but um, I guess like what I'm trying to say is with these games, like there's not a lot of content. So like the little content that there is, like you really cherish in a way. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, maybe there's some truth. Maybe there's some truth to that conversation because I don't know. I feel like um, games are definitely different nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Better or worse, I think that's up for debate. But like I was saying earlier, I feel like the problem we have now is that there's just like so many games. You know what I'm saying? There's just like too many. Like, wait, hold on. I know I'm going on a rant and there's probably no one listening right now, but hold on. Can I open up Paint real quick? Hold on. I'll illustrate a graphic for you guys so you can understand what I mean, right? So let's say let me draw a line, right? And I'm listening, nerd. All right. Frick you, dude. Hold on. How do I use this shit? All right. So this is the where I need gold. All right. Give me a brush. Give me a brush. Make it big, right? So let's say this is gaming back in the day, right? You know, this is gold. Like this is like there was so many good games, right? So many good games. And then this is as you go down, this will be further in time, right? So let's say right? And then so this would be let's just say for example, this is like the PS2, Xbox 360 era, right? And then this is like 360 PS3 era, right? And this is where we are today, right? Yeah, this is so stupid. Right? So like it's not so let me all right, wait, I gotta break this down now, right? I gotta break this down. So let me just write that. Let's say this is hold on. I'm giving y'all the graphics, okay? PS2. I'm just gonna give, you know, I'm just gonna use PlayStation just because it's easier for me to write with the, you know, um pen here, right? So right, listen, look. This is like the PS2 era, right? There's a lot of good stuff, but there's not as many. It's not as all spread out. It's all very easy to find because there's just not so much of it and a lot of, the way marketing worked back in the day, weren't so many avenues like we have today to market stuff. So it's all pretty much getting you know, getting marketed in the same places, right? You had the magazines, you had the TV and internet pretty much, and the internet was small back in that time, right? Then you go to the PS3 era, you have a lot of gold, still a lot of great games, but it's like a little more spread out. The internet's kind of more evolved, you know what I'm saying? So like things are starting to branch out more, and it's a little harder to find games, not because they're not there, but you kind of have to look for them. And then you go to this era now, right? Where there's just so many games, right? There's like, it's not that there's, hold on, I gotta make this a little better. It's not that there's less good games out there. Glitter Cucks. Oh my god. Hi. Hi. How are you? Hi. Um yeah, it's not that there's not good games to play. I'm going on a rant right now. Hi Pookie, how you doing? Who is this? Hi my angel. How are you? How are you? Um okay. Yeah, I'm going on a rant right now. So basically, I'm explaining gaming over the years. So now we're in an era where there's a lot of good stuff, but it's more spread out, and you have to work a little harder to find it. Let's say there was like, sorry, I'm going on a rant right now. Hold on. So let's say you're like a miner, right? Not a child, but like a miner, like you're mining, like Minecraft, right? And this is his pickaxe, right? So you didn't have to do as much work to find good stuff because they were all pretty concentrated in the same place, right? And then as you go further down, there's still gold, but you have to do a little more work. You have to, go a little further. You have to search a little bit. And now where we're at in the modern age is there's still good stuff, but it seems like there's not because it's also spread out and you have to kind of dig a bit and really look around for, good stuff to play because some games might not have crazy high marketing budgets. What's up, Ryu? Um, and some games, they just kind of go under the radar, while other games, might blow up and you might get those like, hold on, those really big, like the Elden Rings and like the Clair Obscures, some games that really blow up, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's not that there's not good stuff to play out there. You just kind of have to do a little bit of work. And I know some people don't want to do that, but if you're not willing to look, then you can't complain that there's nothing to play because it's out there. But anyway, yeah, you can make an argument for whether older games or newer games are better, but I think it's just different. I think that's the situation we're in right now. So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Furry vs. Hentai, yeah, that's what we're about to play right now. What's good? How are you? What's happening? Are you still at work?